Hey everybody, the Real Behemoth here, back with another video for Heroes of History. Today we are going to be talking about a campaign tier list. Now, I have a total of 5 tier lists in this campaign tier list. One for each star level, so 2, 3, 4, and 5 stars, and then one overall combined list. Now, I'm only going to be talking about a select few in each of these lists, just so I don't have to make a 45-minute long video that not a lot of people are going to sit through. But I'll explain the reasons why some of these heroes are high level, why some of them are low level on these tier lists. So to start out, we're going to start out in D tier. Now, keep in mind, every single one of these heroes has some sort of utility in the game. Now, I'm not saying just because they're in D tier, they don't have use. If you're going to build a specific team around some of these heroes, each of them has a specific use that could be utilized in the game, and even for campaign. Now, in D tier, I don't see a lot of use with some of these lower tier characters or heroes. A lot of these, 2-star clusters, they don't do a ton of damage comparatively to some of the others, right? Now, if we're looking at S tier, obviously we have Naya, we have Chiome, we have Eric the Red. Now, Naya, she's going to be you're going to be dependent on her for her single heal. So a lot of people are going to be maxing her out, especially with the new treasure hunt update coming down the line. Healers are definitely going to be a bottleneck in that update. So I definitely recommend, maxing her out. She's not hard to max out. Level 40, ability level 5, pretty easy. And she's got a pretty solid heal. And it's a single heal, and it's similar to Ashoka if you don't have Ashoka. So she's going to be heavily utilized. Now, Chiome, she is killer. Now, a lot of people have not been, using her or looking into her, but I used her for quite a few backline damage for some of the healers and some of the hero battles in campaign. She focuses backline. She prioritizes low HP. So she's going to go ahead and essentially murder the backline or murder the heroes that have the lowest HP, causing you to take in less damage and, stay alive. Her recharge rate is very fast, along with her attack speed as well. So you're going to find some utility from her. Now, Eric the Red, he is also up there. His buff is actually very solid. He increases, I think it was about 50% attack increase. And so you're going to find a lot of use with him as well if you do not have a higher star or a higher tier buffer on your team. Now, some of the A tier are going to be a little bit more tanky or single target high-end damage like Kandake, or another healer. We've got Quantumok and Temok, as I call him. He's actually a pretty decent healer, and he heals some of your troops as well. So that's partly why he's in there. Now, moving on to the 3-star tier list. In D tier, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. There's not a ton there, or not a ton utility in there for campaign. C tier, John Locke, there's definitely argument to move him up and Leonidas down. But just due to some of the other higher end, if you're looking at comparing him versus somebody similar like William Tell is going to outshine him tenfold. Same thing with Ulysses. They're going to outshine him. And B tier, Leonidas, obviously a lot of us get him as the first character. All of us get him as the first character in the game. And so all of us are going to have him. We tend to have him a little over-leveled than he probably should be. And so people are going to find a decent amount of utility from him just from over-leveling him. But in terms of damage, in terms of a little bit of stun, he's not that useful. Marco Polo, he's similar to Edison, except his recharge time's a little longer, deals a little bit less damage, but he's a solid 3-star hero. Now, Herman, obviously we know he's used as a tank, and he stays alive pretty well. Inanna, single target focus damage. So when you're going against heroes and heroes alone, if you're looking at, treasure hunt, or specifically as we're talking about campaign, if you have a frontline hero coming towards you and you're using her, she's going to melt them. Now, Oracle, a debuffer. She's going to allow you to do more damage against the enemy team. Pythagoras, he's going to be doing damage against both heroes and minions. And so depending on what campaign level you're on, you're going to find a lot of utility from him. Ulysses, I was going to put him in S, but I don't think he is S. He's kind of more of an offline tank, or off main tank. And you need to be in a specific range for him to use his skill, which is absolutely frustrating. You can watch it in some of my 19.9 fails in one of my previous videos. It would pop up and say, not in range. And that will cause some losses, I can guarantee it. Mansa Musa, a buffer, just not at the same level as the S tier folks. Now, Ashaka, every single one of us pretty much use him. He's going to be your main healer in the game in total, unless you have somebody like George Washington and you're going to pair him up with Lily. But he's going to be vital for your campaign success. Now, Karl Marx, one of the best debuffers in the game. He does target a specific cluster of enemies, but you're going to find a lot of utility for him. His level doesn't matter as much either, so you can use him at level 20 when the rest of your heroes are level 50. And if you keep him alive or if you keep him in backline, you're going to still find some utility out of him. Now, Miyamoto Musashi. I cannot hype this guy up enough. He does some insane single target damage. Now, here's the key. He doesn't only focus heroes. He also focuses minions. So you're going to want to make sure that he's attacking a hero before popping off his skill, which can sometimes be a little bit of a crutch. Otto, obviously with his taunt, his shield, his shielding the lowest HP friendly unit, he's going to be a massively solid unit for you in campaign. You're going to find a ton of utility from him, whether it be getting his, taunting the enemies and focusing them when your other friendly units are low, or if you're taunting them just so that you can do a massive cluster attack with the rest of your heroes, you're going to find a ton of utility from him. William Tell, he's going to be that backline single target focused damage dealer, so that you can go ahead and melt the backline and make sure that their backline isn't destroying yours before you destroy theirs. Moving on to 4 stars, Van Gogh is in D tier, but I would probably move him to B tier after his version update fix in the next update. Charlemagne, I don't like the guy. I don't find a ton of utility from him. Spartacus, Boudica, Dart, I don't think that they're going to have a ton of utility compared to some of these other heroes in campaign. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with all 3 of those probably, but Boudica just does not do the damage that William Tell does in the 3-star tier list. Dart, he's not going to do as much as some of the other single target damage dealers. Same thing with Spartacus. Now, Louis, his shield is going to be beneficial in a lot of situational cases. Same thing with Beethoven's stun. Tomo, the only reason she's in B tier and not A is because she is squishy. Her AoE damage, bleed, etc. does very solid work. Hatshepsut, she is very solid, but her recharge time is just so long to pop her skill off. And I just don't feel like she's going to be as beneficial in campaign as Lily, just because Lily has that cleanse. So if you're under mind control, if you're under stun, Lily can cleanse your heroes and purify those negative effects. Jane Austen is going to be very useful against those hero battles and hero battles alone. Attila is going to be a very solid kind of weird off tank, kind of similar to Ulysses, where he has that self-heal. Plato is similar to Marx in the 3-star tier list, except his covers the whole field. It's slightly less of a debuff, but it covers the whole field versus just a cluster of few. Now, Kin, Edison, Means, Margaret, Confucius, Lily, and Minos are all S tier. A lot of us will probably agree with some of these. Kin, everybody uses him. I just recently pulled him, so I can't wait to see kind of a little bit more inside gameplay using him. But I love Edison. Edison does massive cluster damage. His attack speed increases are incredible. He just allows you to melt minions and heroes. I can't hype him up enough. Means debuff on movement speed is absolutely broken. Now, with Einstein's, his just became a little bit less. So Einstein's is like a 99% movement speed decrease, and that's going to be absolutely mental to try and fight against. Margaret, she's going to be one of your primary buffers in this game, unless you're able to get a 5-star buffer that just is better. But she's going to be very heavily utilized in some of these campaign levels. Similar with Confucius and his debuff/buff. Now, as I had already talked about Lily. Now, King Minos is not currently in the game, but he's not so he's not able to get pulled right now. But once he is, he's going to be kind of an auto replacement. He's going to be able to be leveled higher. He's going to be a little bit stronger. His shield is a little bit better. He's going to be very heavily utilized, which I imagine they wanted us to kind of use auto before having him pullable. 5-star tier list. Yeah, this one's a little bit of a tricky one. I'm not going to talk too much about the lower tiers, but some of the higher tiers, absolutely. Cleopatra, her mind control, everything about her and overall gameplay. She's one of the in my personal opinion, the overall best heroes in this game. Washington with his Soul Link is absolutely incredible, especially paired with Tiger Lily and her team heal. So if all of them are going to take just a little bit of damage or a lot of bit of damage, then Lily will come in pretty clutch there. Ramses, probably the best or one of the best buffers in this game. He is absolutely mental. He's way better than some of the other buffers that we've previously looked at. He's going to be very utilized in campaign as well. Einstein, his AoE damage, his movement speed decrease is crazy. Your enemies aren't even going to be able to hit you because they're moving so slow. Wallace, he's super tanky. His shield comes in clutch. He is going to be a very solid all-around hero in almost every single mode, maybe aside from Tesla. But there is still some Tesla utility for him there. Now, some of the A tier are there because they do have some sort of negative to them. So Abe, his recharge time, very, very slow, does not deal damage. But his skill is so situational that it comes in clutch in a lot of different moments. Caesar, his crutch is a little bit of squishiness. Mulan, the AoE to single factor. I just don't think that she has just enough to be an S tier. Napoleon, very tanky, a little bit of a buffer, does some AoE damage. I personally love him. I use him on my main team. Ben Franklin, he's going to be primarily used against the hero campaign levels, but not so much on the minions. But he will be pretty solid as a debuffer for any team. Da Vinci, this is post bug, so once he gets fixed, then he's I personally think he's going to be in A tier, but I would probably place him in B tier to start. Now, looking at the overall tier list for this game. Now, this is on Discord, so if you wanted to go ahead and check it out, it is on Discord in one of the forum threads. But this is kind of where I placed everybody, and I kind of spoke to a lot of these already. Now, there is no 5-star that is lower rated than B tier. I think that they all have some pretty solid qualities, and their base stats are just going to be better. You're going to be able to level them higher, so they're going to be able to do more damage. But this is kind of my overview of where I think everybody should be based off of what I was just speaking about across their tier list. So let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know what you agree or disagree with, and I'll catch you in the next one.